Yellow, what's going on? Yellow, green, blue, red, and brown. Today is a brand new day. Today marks the day where Bitcoin makes a turn for the worse and goes to the up. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. But there is a little bit of hope for the bulls. Going into last night, we did pump pretty decently back above. My buy order on my spot did end up getting triggered. So I now have a new stop position for my buy underneath this. Like I said, it's not like my entire spot portfolio. I would not be playing my entire spot portfolio off of these time frames. Talking about like a specific trading spot portfolio. But nonetheless, if you want to be on the side of bullishness, we can start talking about that. You can actually give it some thought. All right, so at the moment, we are coming back down and retesting the previous support, which was previous resistance for a tad bit. But I'm not quite too sure. All right, my opinion still stands. I mean, if you look at it from a logistics standpoint, we have a lot more resistance to the upside than we have support. Now, granted, let me be honest, I did miss one thing. All right, inside of these support levels I have marked out, there is one more that I missed, and it was this previous one over here. All right, at 25,477. Previously acting as resistance here, but was acting as support here. So if you want to be bullish, all right, I guess you have a little bit more runway. All right, you do have one support level of 25,407, which is of decent significance, even more so than the $27,000 level. All right, so that's the next level that if we do break, that's when I really do trust that we probably will see a movement down to 20K. But at the moment, kind of sitting on the side of short-term bullishness. All right, we're still facing things such as the gigantic ABC structure on Ethereum, which kind of dispels a lot of like altcoin not collapses, but significant drawbacks in that sector. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to like significantly outperform it in terms of like it's going to be going up while they're going down. I think there just might be less downside movement on Bitcoin versus altcoins. That's all. I think short term, we're probably going to be seeing a retest of most likely the level of 29,000 if we continue to stay above 27,000. But to see beyond that and see higher highs, we definitely could. We definitely could see one more higher high off of 31K before a possible rejection. But that is a little bit less likely than seeing just a possible retest in general, just to kind of like the 38% level of this ABC here. But besides that, everything's still chilling and cooking. ETH hasn't quite jumped up as much. LTC's kind of been a hot mess lately. All right, not gonna lie. All right, but even though like it wasn't like an official like nice ABC top, we did get an ABC top. And the question is whether or not you're holding it. This was the last major ABC position from its recent high. You can see we got a nice, pretty much pinpoint retest before the rejection. So at the moment, all this looks like to me is we have uptrend, and now we are in the middle of either two possible scenarios. Obviously, these are the only two possible scenarios. So A to B to C. And then from there, like this is what I'm imagining the market is going to turn out as in a whole. Is putting in these higher lows. Like I talked about with BTC, I don't know if we'll see 10K. There's always the chance that we see a slightly lower low than 15.5K as like potentially a fake out in the market, trying to soak up liquidity. People overselling into it just because they're scared of it dipping down to 10K, and then we shortly come back above that. But more importantly, like I said, like I'm short-term bearish, but I don't necessarily think that we're going to see as dramatic of a pullback as we might think. I mean, if you look at it from the all-time high here, we're down a pretty significant amount from like top to bottom, 77%. So 20K would be an awesome retest. I mean, even if we want to come down a little bit lower than 20K, possibly retest back around this level, fine by me. So I'm still kind of bearish, not gonna lie. Still bearish. All right, not as extreme as some people, but still bearish. Looking at the US 100, US 100 it's still continuing to push on, but it's forming that Christmas tree pattern, and it is just getting super, super thin at the top here. So any day now. All right, obviously we're looking for capitulation sometime soon. Either we have an explosive breakout past this resistance, or we topple back down below 13,217. We start moving down to the downside. Especially with what the Fed is doing and the constriction of the money supply, we should see some sort of deflation of the economy. Not necessarily a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing, depending on how you're looking at it. But DXY should see a pump sometime soon as well. So stocks, crypto, getting devalued against the dollar, respectively. But besides that, I'm going to check on 1,000 different altcoins here. Everything has a generalized setup. KDA, for example, very nice, gigantic ABC position. DCA is already in. All right, there's nothing really left for KDA. All right, anything that I'm going to be putting into KDA is just gently over time from now on, because I already put in the 3 major points I really wanted to put anything into. So if we drop below 70 cents, there's nothing really I can do. There's nothing like telling me that I should buy here, buy there. So this area in general is where I'm throwing the most money at KDA. Now, fortunately, US, we still have access to Binance US. That's where I'm buying my KDA on, and then moving it off to Zelcore as like certain levels are hit in terms of how much is in the wallet, so I'm not carrying too high of a balance. But yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the crypto market right there. Boom. Done. We can talk now. I have good news. All right. Me and Johnny becoming market makers. We're forming the Illuminati of crypto to conspire against the entirety of crypto YouTube and the market itself, to divide wealth between the two of us so that we may conquer all of social media surrounding crypto. We created a new channel, and it's going to be like a smorgasbord of pretty much anything you would ever find on crypto YouTube, but with more honesty to it. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more attractive based thing. So this channel has always been built around, we just do live streams. We just talk. Maybe every once in a while I'll throw up a tutorial video, but I'm not really trying to get people to click in on a constant basis for my own benefit. But with that channel, we're definitely going to be leaning more towards trying to get SEO, trying to get clicks, for the most part of just trying to get people to get good information rather than going out there and trying to find everything else that's honestly just a headache. So if you guys want in on that, so plan is that me and Johnny are going to be streaming on that channel pretty much all the time. Hopefully we can get it to a daily schedule. We're streaming every single day, where if I'm not streaming on Monday, he is. If he's not streaming on Tuesday, I am. So that way you guys always have someone there to kind of talk to about what the market's doing, regardless of if it's moving fast or moving slow. There's someone there in a singular channel to go to, because it just made sense to me. Me and Johnny both have channels based off of the premise of like the same exact thing. So why not combine it together? That way, if he's doing good, I'm doing good. If I'm doing good, he's doing good. And everybody's getting helped out. Hopefully in the future that kind of combines into a singular Discord, weekly meetings, all that good stuff, classroom sessions, pretty much anything and everything that we can do to help out people. So I know you might be wondering if you have a lifetime membership to either of our Discords. I'm sure this is definitely my plan, but I'm sure Johnny's on board with it. If you have a lifetime membership to one of our Discords, you have a lifetime membership to that Discord. So, but yeah, we're gonna be doing live streams, a lot of tutorial videos. I've already been me and Johnny last night, we brainstormed our first kind of like mini series in order to get people started. Because part of the problem is that me and Johnny are both long-winded with what we like to talk about, and a lot of dead air and wasted time. So the hope is that if we have a really wide topic to go over, something that would typically take 2 hours, we just cut it up into sections, condense it down to the shortest period of time possible that still provides the best amount of information. That way, like, we're respecting other people's time. And obviously that increases watch time, helps our algorithm, helps it get out to more people. But It's very exciting. I've already brainstormed some videos that I might throw up as well. It's pretty much just gonna be a combined effort. Obviously, there's gonna be some organization to it, but it's pretty much me and him are just gonna be throwing content at this channel left and right. Um, and then as we get further down the line, we get a little bit more legitimized logos, stuff like that. Which uh, logos don't make a channel, but they definitely help with branding and just keeping things simplistic. I'm sure you guys gotten used to like my backgrounds and stuff. I kind of have like an envision of what I would like the like stream starting screen would already look like. So the channel is called Beyond the Wicks. So when I pop up this part of the stream starting, instead of like a space or anything like that, I would like a dystopian city made out of candle wicks, where it's like industrialized, it's very like polluted, and people are just clouded in their judgment. And then beyond it is like this trading utopia, where if you clear your mind and you don't focus so much on the mess that can come from trading, you might have an easier time. Because, and one of the other brainstorm videos I have kind of like loaded up is basically just doing what other people don't. And I think if you generalize the entire crypto community at this point in time, it's all about leverage. It's all about who has the craziest chart, who can trade the fastest time frame. It's always lowest time frame, highest amount of indicators, and how much leverage are you gambling with. So I think if you take that and you look at what makes people successful in the trading market, it's the things that people aren't doing. So that typically involves some stuff that's actually boring, which is, hey, budgeting in your daily life, cutting back on expenses, sacrificing. That way you can create a larger spot portfolio. And then from there, you can make trades without substantial risk, including leverage. You're not held down by margin calls or liquidation. You can do a lot more stuff with spot than you can with leverage, and vice versa as well. There is a piece of the puzzle for the both of them. But I feel like a lot of people are looking for that get rich quick, day trading, hyper scalping type mentality. And if you really get away from that, honestly, you have a much more relaxed situation where you're not in debt to the market and therefore not a slave to it. All right, if you have to feel like you have to look at the screen all day, you're a slave to the market. It's got you. So by trading a more simpler strategy, and of course, we're going to cover the ABC strategy on that channel, but I do want to just talk more about just ingenuity of a trader. A trader is someone who can look at the market with their own perspective, come up with an idea, back test it, and see what happens. And the cool thing about a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about, me personally, is just the use case of getting everything else correct before you even involved with trading. Because the problem is that if you are trying to build something from nothing, we've been over this many, many times, the extra amount of risk that's involved with that and the extra amount of risk it puts on your health is tremendous. It's ridiculous. So if you can afford to and be patient, doesn't mean you don't trade, but do it slowly. And you build up that stack of maybe 15, 20K, which sounds like a lot of money. Might take you a year or two to get up, but that's when you can really start hitting the market hard. Because at that point, you're not necessarily rich by any means, but you're definitely in a better position than most people. Most people are trying to make money off of like $500, which is definitely possible. We've shown it many times, but it is stressful. It's very psychologically stressful. So we've talked about how like someone that has $1 million, they only have to risk 0.1% of their portfolio to make the amount of money that is required to pay your bills. Whereas you might have to risk 30% of your portfolio and hit a crazy risk to reward ratio trade in order to make your monthly payments on your bills. So just some spitball and some ideas of what I've already got on paper, but definitely gonna be putting a lot more work into the channel, involving editing, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm a little bit self-conscious about it because I obviously don't have a great camera at the moment because I wanted to downsize, minimalize my life. But we're going to slowly get our toes in there, see what happens. And me and Johnny, I think we've proven me and him are not like crazy good editors or anything like that with transitions, infographics, stuff like that. So going to try our best. So it might not be the best looking YouTube channel in the beginning, but If you guys like what we have already, then I'm sure you'll like that as well. And it'll only get better with more production value. And the hope is that as the channel grows, it's going to be a network. So if we find another like-minded trader who has a good personality, who can speak well, they could come on and do their own shows. We'll do interviews, and as well as that, hire editors, not necessarily commercialize it and make it where it's just a money pumping machine, but make it a more streamlined process where me and Johnny can put out good content without the stress of having to spend 4 or 5 days editing said video just to get it out. So in the description, you might have to refresh the page because I edited the description when the video was live, this live stream. But in the description, within the list of links towards the bottom, you'll find Beyond the Wicks YouTube and a link to it if you want to go subscribe. And we still, I don't know what we want to do with it in terms of like exactly when everything's going to get started, but sometime soon, right within the next week or two. And yeah. So I mean, between all of the names, yeah, 2 bulls, 1 chart was probably one of my favorites. So like we did like a little, we had AI generate a whole bunch of names for us, and then me and Johnny did a thing where we like selected our top 3, whichever top 3 of ours lined up. We did a which one would you rather live with, and then me and him both agreed on Beyond the Wicks. But I felt like it was coming for a long time. It just made sense. And if things do get big enough on that shared channel, there might be an abandoning of this current channel. Maybe I'll use this channel for something different besides necessarily trading. Obviously, trading is a part of my life. I probably won't ever stop talking about it. But I probably start talking about some different things in videos. And hopefully, as I learn new skill sets, I can transfer that over to this channel. Yeah, like I just said, this channel is probably still going to be alive, and I probably still will post to it. I'll probably still live stream, but it might not be as like Bitcoin or crypto in general or trading focused as it used to be. Now that's a long ways away. We have to get a decent sized following on the new channel, make sure things are up and running before that is even planned. No, I won't be removing any videos from this channel. There's no reason to. Unless YouTube starts implementing a policy where like you have to start deleting if you get to a certain amount of videos. Wild. I had Kite doing a karaoke channel next. Karaoke probably will never be in the cards. I wasn't born with that capability. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, all right, by singing a song that they love and having it absolutely butchered. So I don't think that's going to happen. Kite, why are you not open CT on Bybit or Binance? Open CT? Open CT? You're gonna have to say what CT is. I'm not getting the abbreviation. It's not clicking in my brain. Kite car reviews channel? No. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, at this moment in time, I'm planning on running the car that I have into the absolute ground, because I'm tired of just buying new. I think the next car, so I'll probably be done with this car in about 4 or 5 years, maybe. So by that time, when I'm looking to get a new car, it's probably going to be a Prius, if I'm being honest with you at this point in time. Because as I'm just doing research on, different stuff and trying to figure out what I want, I know it's not the flashiest car by any means, but honestly, don't really care. at all. So I think the technology is pretty cool, stuff like that. And the gas mileage is absolutely insane. It's like 60 miles to the gallon city. It actually gets worse mileage to the gallon on highway. Which I know that's because it's a hybrid. In the city, it's most likely using regenerative braking and all that kind of stuff, but still cool nonetheless. Trevor, did you watch Zeitgeist yet? Did you watch Addendum? You still stream on Twitch? Not as of recently, because there's been nothing really that I wanted to stream, to be honest with you. I'm really eager for the finals to come back out, either for another closed beta test or full release. That game was fun, and if they can get the performance right, I think they got a hit. I know it's the most likely thing to happen because it happens to pretty much any new IP out there, but I truthfully hope that it doesn't just die on arrival. Seems like any new game, so like Shatterline, for example, and I mean, I'm part of the problem too. But the thing is it's a positive feedback loop where I might love a game so much, and I'll definitely play it beyond its release. But then once the player base starts dropping, and you're just not being able to find lobbies, or you're just playing against the same players over and over and over again, and there's no skill gap involved with what you're doing, no ability to climb the ladder because there's not enough wide range of people to play with, you quit the game as well, and then that leads to another person quitting the game, another person. It's just a positive feedback loop. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with finals, because truthfully, it's a really fun game. Well, I mean, it's human psychology. I think I've had this talk 1,000 times, but say with like the Mercedes, fantastic car, fast, luxurious, very comfortable. But the thing is, you have to evaluate what you truthfully love. And yeah, like if you get a thrill out of bringing your car to the track every so often, sure, you're a car guy, do you? But there is also a limit. If you have 10 cars and you only drive one of them and the rest are just showpieces, at what point is it too much? So with the Mercedes, I had it for about 1.5 years, and when I first got it, it's just like any new toy. Like you're infatuated with it, cleaning it every single day. If someone spills a cup, you get angry at them, but that just doesn't feel good. So like as time went on, it just became another thing in my life, and it wasn't special. It wasn't meaningful. You might say that's a problem with me, but no, it's just a problem with materialistic things in general. They don't provide genuine happiness. Very cliche to say, but I mean, it's true. So why is it? It's a cliche for a reason. So with any ongoing cars or like anything in general, there's gonna be like genuine thought into what goes into it, in terms of pricing and what does it provide. Kite, what was the last Pokemon you played? It was the one with the big dinosaur dude. Let me see if I can find a list of the Pokemon games. Okay, so I remember playing this one. This was the last set of Pokemon that I played. So I mean, I'm pretty sure I've played all of these, but this was like the last set that I played. So I remember playing that one. I remember playing that one. Yeah, I think I had all of them. That was the last Pokemon game. Well, I think most humans love going fast. I'm not saying that I don't like speed, but there's a difference between like speed and then just like glorified showmanship. All right, so let's say that you buy like a Tesla Plaid Model S and it's like juice to the tit. Are you paying 120 grand for a car? It's eco-friendly to a certain extent at the moment in time. It goes fast. But to be honest, like that's a lot of money for a car, my man. A lot. So yeah, to me, it's just like, honestly, like how fast are you going to be going all the time? Because to me, like there's going to be moments in time where you're not using that full speed. Unless you're going to the track every single day, at what point is it just like expenditure for no reason? Anyway, racking up speeding tickets all the time because officers going to be pulling over. Sir, why were you speeding? I like to go fast. That's not a good excuse. Go to jail. Did you ever type what CT was? No, you did not. Well, Richard Hart is obviously a glaring example of everything that's wrong with the human ego. I'm gonna be honest, like that's my honest opinion. Like if I'm starting to move to, so like when we get to the other channel is gonna be just purely trading focused. Obviously, I won't be talking bad about anybody. But I'm gonna be honest, like I don't like Richard Hart at all. I don't support his projects. I don't support him as a person. He might be playing a character, but that's a terrible character to play. And there's no satire that I can pick up on, to be honest. Terrible person. I mean, it's just gluttony, and it's just illegitimate. It is a marketing ploy, and I hate it. He's genuinely the Tai Lopez of crypto. Now, if you go watch any interview with Tai Lopez, because right now he's nowhere to be found because he's kind of moved away from that world of grifting, he's kind of a genuine guy. But he talks genuinely about how he was being disingenuous with all of that stuff. So, I mean, hey, grifter's got to grift. You know what I'm saying? Honest opinion. Sup, steroid boy? That's right. Over here. Honestly, I could use some. All right. I had to demonstrate to my grandmother today because she goes, "Oh, you're so strong." I go, "Grandma, I'm not. Watch me do a push-up." I did one push-up. You know how long that push-up took me? 10 seconds. All right. Took me 1 second to go from up position to down position, another 9 seconds to get back up. So I'm over here doing wall push-ups. So if your boy needs a little bit. All right. Now, I don't want to be involved with it. All right. I don't want to be shooting up steroids in my butt cheeks. All I'm saying is that if you mayhaps on the street blew some steroids in my face and they accidentally got into my nostrils, got into my bloodstream, and made me stronger, who am I to say that that's me doing? I'm still natty. I didn't do it. It was some random person blowing some random thing in my face. It just so happened to make me juice to the tits. I'm still natty. Can you make a video about how you started your YouTube channel and what you need to start one in your opinion? Sure. I mean, I guess. Honestly, it's just do it. You know, Shia LaBeouf it. Like now there's level of like discipline to it. I wouldn't say like what I do with this channel is anything special. It's not. I'm not throwing any extra time at it. It's really a pastime. This is a very low effort YouTube channel, in all honesty. It's not because I don't care. It's just because I don't want to live that lifestyle. Um, Now that we're doing kind of like a crypto network, trying to get more outreach, it might have to become more of a lifestyle, but try not to lose myself in it. Um, so I mean, first is like niche. Like your YouTube channel has to have some sort of purpose and kind of a sole purpose. It could be a generalized purpose, like self-help almost, where you're like going into different studies on the human body and mental health and stuff like that. It's a broad topic. You can have a lot of different videos on that. Crypto, obviously, you can have a lot of different videos about crypto. So finance world in general, you can do a finance all channel, kind of like Graham Stephan. You can do fitness, or you can do anything, like whatever you're interested in. There's someone else interested in it too. And just be genuine and pump out as much as you can in the beginning. Just create like a catalog for people to watch. Doesn't matter. Just do it. I don't know if you responded to me yet, Trevor, but did you watch Zeitgeist? I don't know if you said yes or no. Oh, you said okay. I'm looking up in the chat. So I'm halfway through whichever one Goof sent in the group, but it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. So it's taking me some. Which one did he send? I didn't see that he sent any. Goof? Did he send it in BS chat? Oh, he did. Did he send? Okay, I think this is the first one, but addendum is definitely the one I would probably watch first. The first one, kind of would probably rub some people the wrong way because it talks more about religion as like a political institution for control, which it doesn't mean that. So we're getting into personal feelings here. It doesn't mean that there isn't like a greater truth to reality. But what it does mean is that people took that, manipulated it to their advantage because they know that we all seek out some sort of greater meaning, and then they developed it into a means of control. That's all it's saying. It's not saying that religion itself is false. So like some people might misinterpret that beginning, and then it gets into like 9/11, which some people who had family members die, you intrinsically want someone to hate, regardless if facts are presented. So they might be upset with that part, but obviously like the entire middle part of it, talking about the monetary system, that's kind of hard to dispute. We are living in that. And if you are contributing to that, you know what it feels like. And it's not a good feeling whatsoever. And I like how in the third Zeitgeist, it talks a lot about like stockbrokers, traders, leverage marketers, stuff like that, and how we're kind of actually scumbags. And from that perspective, yes, we kind of are. Like, if you think about it, we're looking at candlesticks, but in actuality, you're looking at people losing money all left and right. And then your job is to capitalize on the loss of someone else, put in your pocket. It's a zero-sum game. There's always someone left holding the bag. That's the truth to it. So it is a very malicious thing, and it's not contributing anything to a society whatsoever. Speculation doesn't contribute to society. Now, I honestly, I don't feel awesome about it, but I view it as a means to an end, which also I have mixed feelings about that. The hope would be is that I can take what I earn from this and then live sustainably, promote the good habits that I would like to see, and then start transitioning people away from that to the point where it's no longer a reality. Or at least set an example for like my grandkids or whatever. Because maybe the entire system won't be abolished. Who knows? That's why it's like growing up watching that movie, obviously it kind of like imprinted my personality with some traits, but obviously growing up in just society and then forgetting about the movie, I started to exemplify some of the negative traits that the movie talks about. Like, I have debt and it sucks. So, as much as like you watch all these YouTubers like Graham Stephan, which there is a smart way to use debt, but that's also the thing. Like, debt in itself isn't smart. So, what's the point in contributing to a negative system in the first place? If you can get rid of like Dave Ramsey, like, even though what he talks about is somewhat antiquated, the basic principle is true. Like, being debt free is probably one of the best things in the world. That's why, like, in this new channel, I'm really gonna start focusing on stuff that people don't do, which is talking about how to not get rich quick, but rather how to get rich low risk, which requires significantly more effort. And I just want to set an example for that. I don't want to have flashy things. I don't want to have a bunch of watches in the background. Yeah, I might invest in a small studio setup to make sure like the quality's good. But besides that, I'm not gonna be driving a fancy car. I'm not gonna be trying to like flex the wealth that I've made off of you. You know, it's that type of YouTube where like you're sucking money up from the population of YouTube and then just shoving it back in their face. Fucking idiotic. Well, I mean, that's true to an extent, Joe, but like if you get down to the bare basics of it, the game is dumb. Now, we can make the excuse that it is what it is. This is reality. This is what we're living with. All right, so yeah, of course, if you put in more time and effort than the next guy, you're gonna win. But the game itself is at fault, not necessarily the two parties involved versing each other. It's the system itself. Like I said, I participate in it. My YouTube channel's about it. It's how I make most of my money. And there's cognitive dissonance involved with that. And you have to be honest with that. Like, you can make excuses all day about what this is, but brass tacks, it's just legalized gambling and pretty much theft. Because we're like taking a piece out of the puzzle that most people don't have access to. All right, because there's so much institutional money in the stock market, crypto, whatever it might be, a lot of that institutional money is new, freshly printed, not even printed, new, freshly digitally minted money that came out of thin air that we now have access to that most people will never have access to because they're working W-2s, whatever it might be. So, you know, try the 100 to 100K challenge again when the bull run starts. Of course, I think every, you know, towards like the latter after we have the halving, maybe like a month or two after the halving, I'll start a new portfolio in that way. I don't know if it's ever going to be extreme as a 100K because I want to move past that. I want to start promoting healthier habits in traders rather than I'm in debt. My job sucks. I have $100 extra of spending money every month. How do I turn that into a livable retirement in one bull run? It's a dream that is possible. We've shown it, but is it viable for everybody? No, not in the slightest. So my job is to influence as many people as I can through boring methods, because the whole name of the game here, if we're being honest, the whole name of the game is if I want to be able to make money off of monetization from like YouTube clicks, but share a working strategy that people can also make money off of. Problem is if I'm too successful, it's a huge conundrum. If I'm too successful, the strategy no longer works. So the trick to it is, and I mean, I've already done a pretty good job at this. The trick to it is make it unappealing. What is appealing to the human ego is having something that they feel like nobody else can do. They want to feel special. They want to be unique. All right, so in order to do so, they flood their screen with 1,000 different indicators, and they try to do it as fast as possible because they want the bragging rights of saying, I did this to this in this amount of time. Frick you, you suck. It took you 5 years to make your first 100,000 trading. You suck. They want that feeling, even though they might not exemplify it outright. To be honest, most people do. And I don't think like anybody's significantly trapped in that mindset. I think that's something that you can grow out of. That's something that you can go beyond, but it just takes time. I mean, it might take multiple lifetimes. Who knows? Depending on what you believe. So with the new YouTube channel, obviously I wanted to be genuinely successful, because it's not just my lifeline. It's also Johnny's lifeline. For extra capital, but it needs to be promoting healthy habits, which most people, and speaking of healthy habits, as I shove another thing of nicotine into my mouth, working on it, healthy habits people don't want. So I can live morally just. Obviously working in the financial world is not morally just at the end of the day, but I know what I'm doing is correct and authentic, but I know that the majority of people probably won't follow through. That's the honest truth. So I can be successful with the monetization and clicks. I'm giving good information if people listen to it, but I know the majority won't. And then I continue to take advantage of the same system day in and day out. That was the part of the movie where the ambiguous moral villain hero told you his entire plan, and there's really nothing you can do about it because there's nothing evil or good about it. It's just, that's what it is. Got that? Bull man? How will you know when to change your strategy? Well, the halvening sets in motion a different set of factors in the market. So we're going to be really prioritizing more of resistance. Still primarily am going to be playing probably the bottom side retesting game until we start breaking the previous resistance located closer to the all-time high. All right, so like after the halvening, it's going to be primarily focused on picking up long positions, spot and leverage, on ABC pullbacks, just like what we're sitting in right now, and then holding on to those and waiting for the next one to take profit and compound once we start getting closer to, say, these resistances up here. Most likely this resistance here, because there's tons of room to the upside, good breakout trade, and then obviously beyond that. And then I'm sure there's going to be some other ones that are probably on some smaller time frames that are in the movement to the upside. And to be honest, I don't know if it's going to be as explosive of a bull market. To be honest, like my expectation would be 110K for the next bull market. Like I really, if we see anything more than that, I'm impressed. If we see anything less than that, I'm okay. Because you have, like we explained it the other day, through the analogy that another man said, but great analogy, where if you have, you know, a puddle of water, you throw a rock in it, really does some damage to the puddle. Now you turn that into a pond, you throw the same size rock into it. All right, made some good ripples, good job, big splashes, bibbity bobbity boop. Then you turn that into a pool, and then a lake, and then an inlet, and then, you know, an ocean. That's what we're doing with the halvening. The halvening is supplying the same amount of pressure on the market. There's going to be significantly less and less. As that starts happening, I mean, as time starts to go on, it's going to be more dependent on just general sentiment. And we can start moving away from that, that feeling of the market has to move in this cyclical cycle. Yes, there's still going to be that pressure until mining is done, and which won't be for quite a while, but it's going to be less and less of a cyclical cycle and more of how is the market doing? We can genuinely look at it as a free-flowing market with no other pressure involved besides what do people want to do with their money. If you have the desire and the faith, you can do whatever you believe you can. A lot of people don't actually know what it is they want. Not your family, not your friends, not your mom, not your dad, you. Well, Alan Watts has a really good, like, short clip on that. But one of the greatest things from like the Shobo Genzo and some others have repeated it. Instead of starting life at the starting point of trying to figure out what you want to be, doctor, lawyer, churchgoer, find out what you are first. And that pretty much helps everything else. Because once you understand what you are, you understand that there is no limits. And it's not a conceptual idea. It is a physical knowing. There is no room for interpretation. And from that point on, everything is a breeze. Okay, what are you using now since Bybit KYC? I'm using DYDX. I currently have an open short position on BTC, and that's it. Everything else is on spot. I honestly wish like Alan Watts was still alive. I mean, shoot. Like it just... When great people come along like that, and they're gone, and they have changed your life so much, and you have no direct way to thank them, it sucks. Because, I mean, being like during 14 and 15, legitimately, I did not listen to music. I listened to Alan Watts. Or like the not Spotify, SoundCloud had like every lecture that he ever gave, and just one by one went through. I didn't even care if it was talking about something that I was related to at the time. I just wanted to know what this man had to say, because everything that came out of his mouth was genuinely so dramatically life-changing, and I don't know if I would be the same person if it was not for those. So what flavor is Zen? I haven't changed my flavor of Zen for probably like months now. It's always coffee Zen. It's to the point. So like when I first started to buy coffee Zen, and I was like, that's my favorite. The gas station right by me would always run out of them, but they just weren't prepared for someone like me, an addict. But now like their inventory is updated and they account for me. So every time I go there, there's not been a single day where they don't have coffee. Some of my friends just got back from Costa Rica. Haven't talked to them in over a month. Just clean up the chart so I don't end up deleting everything again. Let's go ahead and add the this level here, just so it's not disingenuous. Why wait, hold on, why does that keep it's unlocked? Turn that off auto. Oh, it's because it's not added to a group yet. There we go. All right, boom, drag that down, boom, boom. All right, so being honest, that's a good support level. It's there. This is what we're currently working with the market. I gotta clean up my room soon. Yeah, it's actually very freeing. I forget my. I gotta go out to the car as soon as I'm done with this. I forgot my water bottle again. But what's very freeing is once you get rid of the need for drinks. Now, this is person to person dependent. I'm a slob, all right. Somehow stuff just tends to get stacked on my desk. But as soon as I clean up all these cans, now that I just drink from a water bottle, I'll never have to worry about cleaning up the cans off my desk ever again. By the way, look what I got as a present today. This is definitely going to be a centerpiece in whatever like background I have set up. It's a little fish. And watch. Yeah. You just snap his neck off, and then you can put like, right now there's cookies in it, but you can just throw stuff in there. You said happy birthday? No, it wasn't for my birthday. It was just a Christmas present that's very belated. Where do I hide my weed? No need for it anymore. Like 17 to like 19 years old, I smoked so much. Yeah. And I just don't feel the need to do it anymore whatsoever. When I quit, there was no like withdrawal symptoms. It was just, I was just done. And it wasn't like I consciously quit and said like, you know, enough is enough. It just faded out of my life. And I didn't really feel the need to use it anymore. And I don't miss it. It just, it didn't provide me anything. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. Like, I'm not like preaching against it. It's just for me personally, it didn't really, it didn't provide me anything that I didn't already have. Now, for legal purposes, 1-PLSD, that is something that I promote responsibly. All right, don't go out to a festival and take 16 tabs on your 7th day because tolerance built up and now you have 16 times that amount of chemical, but from your perception, you're just having a low-level trip, but yet you're doing permanent damage to your brain. All right, I maybe do it like once a year, if that, and it's always with some sort of intention, because it's honestly such a great tool. Like, from like a brain's perspective, what it's doing is let's say that you have like a central processor that takes all of your senses that help you configure reality into a coherent, streamlined process that albeit thoughts and just reality itself. And then this thing turns off the central processor and now everything can become unfiltered. So if you want to be more creative and figure out a solution to your current problems, if you go in with that intention, it might not be a pretty thing because maybe your problem is you and that's going to be a terrible time. Or it can be beautiful if you let it. It's all dependent on your personality and how you choose to face the situation. But honestly, a fantastic tool. It's like a defragmentation for the soul. And to be like, you can find a counter argument to anything. So I was watching, I don't know his name because I don't watch him actively. It just popped up on my YouTube recommended. So I clicked on it and I watched it. Daily Wire, Psychedelics. Forgive me, I don't know how to type psychedelics correctly. I'm trying to figure out what it was it Daily Wire? I thought it was this guy. I watched this video, and to be honest, you can contribute this to someone's upbringing, or if they grow up hyper Christian, when they have these experiences with these, they're going to see things through that light. So if they're living their life in what they would assume to be a demonic way, when they take these things that turn off that filter, now reality can really be shown for what it might truly be, things will seem demonic. So then you attribute those demonic things to the substance that you're taking. So this really took a turn that I didn't think was going to happen. And they really put like psychedelics in a negative light, which I think if they're used responsibly with good intention, and you leave your thoughts and emotions out of it, and just experience, I don't think there's any good or bad negative connotation with it. And he talked about how he went through different religions and Buddhism and stuff like that, and he would meditate, but it almost sounded like he was coming from like an egoist perspective of trying to be the shaman of a group, and didn't really actually give it any merit. It's actually sad to watch, I'm gonna be honest, but that's coming from my perspective. Maybe my perspective's egoist, and maybe I'm holding too much gold light to these things. Because like I said, they're not good or bad. It's all dependent on how you look at it. And truthfully, I look at it from a good light. So can you tell us your YouTube setup, please? What are you talking about? Like my actual setup? I'm using OBS with a decent computer. I have a $100 webcam, a C922. I think that's what it's called. Very cheap webcam. Not really anything special. And I got a Shure M7B, which is just basically like a mini version of the SM7B. That's pretty much it. If that's what you meant by setup. How are those legal shrooms? They weren't exactly what I was expecting. So Amanita muscaria, I did a bunch of research on it, but some of the articles gave me the perception that it was going to be like traditional shrooms. It was not. It makes you feel almost drunk. And then if you try to stay awake, you're really not going to have anything special happen. The special stuff happens is when you go to lay down and go bed. All right. But you have to kind of drift away and get into a meditative state rather than actual true sleep. And what happens is wild. It's almost like a lucid dream. Everything is vivid. Your thoughts are just boom, there. And it's a closed eye dream state psychedelic rather than what traditional shrooms might be. Or, 1P-LSD. Yep. Went and saw my grandparents and my mom today for Mother's Day. A little day late. Had a good time. We watched Knowing with Nicolas Cage, even though I just saw it like a week ago. Apparently my grandparents haven't seen it and they wanted to watch it, so we ended up watching that. We ate some Outback, which kind of sucks because tomorrow's going to kind of suck. Because, I had access to some food. So instead of eating at like 7:30, I ate at, I think, what time did I get there? I got there like 3:20. So I had my meal at 3:20. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to go an extra couple hours without eating to get back on schedule. Um, I think I've actually hit my first plateau because I checked again this morning and I'm still around 188. So I think I'm at my first plateau. So it might be a week or so before I see any more movement to the downside. So kind of sad, but it was expected, so it's not as sad. But while it's doing that, I'm just gonna focus on continuing to do my push-ups, crunches, and squats and stuff like that. Gently get back into calisthenics, hopefully build up that missing muscle, and I can start progressing through the harder and harder stuff so I can get my sleeper build going. Yeah, my weight's consolidating in a bear flag right now. That's actually a good idea. Like, what if you individually plotted out over a very long period of time of like a population's weight, would you see similar data in the charts, uh, like we do right now? Wouldn't that be cool if that's actually something that's viable? Because I mean, you think about it. I mean, that's how I explained ABCs the other day in terms of psychology form. We talked about like how someone might be having bad habits and eating and eating and eating and eating and not working out, and they go, "I need to change," and then they have a little bit of progress and they go, "You know what? I've earned it," and they just kind of slowly get back into the same lifestyle. Maybe they have a little bit of sideways price action, and they go and they just lose track of the goal, and they go back up, and then they're back where they started, even past it. And they go, all right, I'm done. And then they really start doing it. And then maybe they hit a plateau, sideways price action, and they go down, and they go down, and they go down, and then they retest, you know? All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and head off for the night. Probably see you guys tomorrow if I get home early enough. Or if I wake up early enough. Can't guarantee that much. Possibility. Who knows? But yeah. Like I said, in the description, if you scroll down towards the bottom, there is a link to the new YouTube channel, Beyond the Wicks. And probably won't be really soon that we start uploading content, but it will be relatively soon. And definitely gonna be a lot of transitioning going on where I might be streaming over there a little bit more often, and so on. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you being here, as with every night. But I'm gonna go chillax, talk to Johnny, talk to some friends, say hello to some people, and yeah, I will check in with you guys as soon as possible. Go ahead and do the thing, okay? See you, buddy. Joe, you have a good night as well. Trevor. Finish the zeitgeist. Fill your mind. Good night, buddy. Sloth bag. Peace out. Olden. All right. One thing I don't like about the nicotine pouches is that they make my face really red. So enjoy the red face. Keep it between the ditches. Absolutely.